Ksenia, your character's very street smart. How would you compare yourself to her? Are you as street smart as she is in real life?
Oh, God, no. I'd be terrible. I always say what I admire about Kenzi is that she can stare evil right in the face, and no matter how afraid she is, she will stay there, for her friends. She'll fight to the end. So I try to learn from her. I hope to be that brave and courageous in my own life. And street smart, I don't know. I feel like if I had to live on the streets, I'd be like a total baby, and definitely not as tough as she is.
Rachel, your character Tamsin questions her loyalties in the show, doesn't she? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, Tamsin, I think, struggles because she's a part of the Dark Fae, but in many ways has been displaced from her original purpose. And I think, we all sometimes experience that in life, and it's hard then to fully identify with who we were before, especially since she's now met all of these lovely light fae people and really, I think falls in love with Bo in a lot of ways. And so that sort of presents this huge problem for her. And it's been really interesting this season to sort of see how that changes and evolves and whatnot.
Emmanuelle, your character's quite cunning in the show. How cunning would you say you are in real life? And what do you think your character's saying about talent agencies?
What, the feeding off of their talent sort of thing? There's a lot of parallels, I think, in that world.
Seriously.
I think it's a lot of fun being able to say and do inappropriate things that normally in real life you wouldn't be able to say or do, but you sometimes really want to. And I think that's one of the great things about the Morrigan is she's unapologetic about who she is and how she handles people. And I think, but yet she still has to manage things, and she doesn't show her cards all at once. Because she has to manage different, the light fae and all the different characters that she comes into contact with, and for her own purposes, and make sure that things go her way.
Cool. Can I ask you guys a question about the role of women in television?
It's this
We
guy,
were just talking about this.
We're very
Jay,
lucky because it's his specialty. Girl power is this man's specialty. So we're all just lucky to be a part of it. And it's a challenge to find roles for women that are strong and exciting and challenging for us as actors. So
and also don't depend the females in the show don't get their identity from males. Their characters aren't sort of dictated by what the male characters in the show are doing, which is so rare. It's really dictated by what the female character in the show is doing.
Yeah.
I'm the voice of women on the show. There was a big fight with the writers.
Oh, the voice of women.
There was a big fight with the writers, and we had a couple guys on the set. And we have a mixed set of writers, women and men, that write this show. And we had a very conservative writer for a little while, and he started writing scenes that didn't make sense to me. And we had this big fight one day, and all of a sudden my whole office hears me yelling and screaming in the office. I said, I am the voice of women on the show. And I said, you write what I tell you to write. And then we had this big fight about it, and it was fun. But I've sort of developed this over the years. I did a show called The Original Nikita years ago. I did a show called Relic Hunter with Tia Carrero, which was fun. And I've done a couple films with women, and just I read Cosmo on planes. I read advice columns. No, in the early days, I swear, when I was on airplanes and I traveled constantly, I'm on a plane every other week sort of thing, I used to read women's magazines because I didn't read the guys' magazines. Or the girls' magazines, I learned advice columns, stuff like that. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Like, dear Cosmo.
Unbelievable what women write. Cosmo, it cracked me up, the advice they asked. Yeah.
And did you ever write in for advice yourself?
Write in Cosmo? No.
Jay actually
How do I
writes
make
the
a hit
answers
show?
to Cosmo.
It's like a ghostwriter for
No, but I've actually written parts of the show on a regular basis. I wrote one script, but I've written scenes. Whenever I'm frustrated with something, I'll take it over and I'll write it.
And where did Lost Girl come from?
Silly idea I had. I was sitting in con and I had the idea. A friend of mine actually had pitched me a low-budget movie sort of thing. And I said, no, I can make a series out of this sort of thing. And he had pitched me a very weak idea. Oh, I shouldn't say it that way. He pitched me something that didn't work, right? And it was a genetically engineered girl. and I decided she should be bisexual because I said at one point, if Buffy were made today, she'd be bisexual. And I said she's got to be strong. She's got to be conflicted between what's right and wrong, and there should be no rules to her life. She should determine her own rules. And I gave that general rule to a few people. A few people were challenged to write something. Michelle Lovretta came in. She found the character out, and she put it in the Fae world, which was great. And it just started going from there. But the idea was a very strong, undefined character in that she was going to find her way. We adapted like mad to this cast. Okay, Anna, who plays Bo, the original character was a strong woman who ripped doors off buses and was determined. And Anna had a certain naivety in her own performance, so we changed the role to a bit. Ksenia, she knows this. Her role was originally fairly minor. We hadn't expected her to be what she turned out to be. So she was just a little bit of a kid in the scene, and then she turned out to be a hero in a big way because the way she did the performance.
Boom.
You know, Emmanuelle, and I love telling the story. Emmanuelle was supposed to be this quirky character that came in once in a while and just did some mean, evil. We called her Cruella de Vil sort of things, you know. But she really brought it all to life. So she's become a much bigger character in the show. And Rachel was my, what do I call you? I said the angel devil. I said I wanted this. I had this little dream of this new character to introduce, and I said I want the face of an angel. It's going to be our real shit.
Which is nothing like in real life.
Nothing.
And everybody said, "Oh, you'll never find her. You'll never find her." So it's been fun because these characters have all been developed sort of improv-wise. I don't know if that's the word, but they evolved.
Is that why Emmanuelle's got some of the quirkiest dance things I think I've ever seen you do in your career?
That is like one of my favorite scenes ever. I texted you or emailed you or something right after I saw that scene, and I was like, oh my God, you're a comedic genius.
Oh, the Bex dance.
It was so phenomenal.
Yeah, we were worried whether she'd do it or not because it was, but you pulled it off so beautifully.
Well, John Fawcett called me and he was like, okay, so there's this thing in the new script. I was like, yeah. About like, so am I supposed to be a good dancer or is this like a bad dancer? And either way, I'm going to need some help choreographing what we're going to do so I don't look, well, silly. Like, the point was to look silly, but choreographed silly, somewhat. So we talked about it on the phone before Christmas, and we shot the episode just after Christmas. And I remember being up at like 4 a.m. because I had like a 6 a.m. makeup call or something. I was like, this is way too early to be doing this dance. And I think set call was like 7 a.m. by the time I was dancing around. I was like, oh my God, this is way too early.
That probably added to the crazy. You were like, well, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. But it was a blast. That was a lot of fun.
We have amazing departments all around. Everything from our set decoration to wardrobe to hair, makeup, lighting. David Green, who originated the lighting and the look of the show, is phenomenal. And I like that we look different and we have a very dark, kind of shaded, orangey Tuscan, I don't know, how would you describe it?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Kind of,
All right. That works.
awesome. Keep going. Great. I'm done.
We have moods all the time. There's always
Moody.
these little smoke machines, sort of, not smoke, steam, whatever it is. Fog
smoke.
up the recess.
It's like, oh, too much. We gotta wait a second, fan that out.
And you have all the smoke, you can't even see the actors.
It just looks like the set's on fire.
And if you ever came to set, you'd see our lights aren't lights. They're these big, like,
Fluffy.
8 feet tall things we call fluffy.
We call fluffy.
You know? And they're big square panels that are like shaded light and something. So it gives a really great look.
What would you like to see happening in the show in seasons coming ahead, both for your character and for the show as a whole? Where would you like to see it moving forward?
Well, do you have any specifics, anybody? Because I know I can tell you a little bit about
Jay,
season 4. I have very specific plans. Listen, season 4, we made a little more dramatic, I'll call it. It's a terrible word. The writers hate when I say I want more drama. They say, that's what we do, Jay. We give you drama, but we made it a little more dramatic. Somebody said, take everything you know about Lost Girl, turn it upside down. We delve into the characters' backstories more in season 4. We tell people where they all come from because we found that the fans wanted to learn more about everybody. And so it's a lot more, a little darker, a little tougher season 4. I have specific plans for future seasons that have certain political messages that I think are really important. Because if you've noticed that Beau's character doesn't like being sort of branded, named, told what to do, I think that's going to be very important, that, you shouldn't be judged by your beliefs, you shouldn't be judged by your looks, you should be judged by who you are inside, and that's going to be a big part of the future seasons.
Is there anything that the network has said to you, you can't do that on TV? Just don't show that.
Everything.
I don't think
the network said I couldn't do this, but I did.
That's why we love him.
I feel like I've had like
I got
5
some
conversations about that.
Yeah, we've had. We're very lucky. This show is an unusual show in that. Oh God, I'm gonna sound really bad. I have real control.
As you should.
As I do. I mean, when this started the show, everybody thought I was out of my mind, so I couldn't find partners. And the Canadian network really was involved early, but the way the show got bought was unusual because the head of the network said, "I really don't get this genre much," and I had to say, "Trust me." And she'll tell you, the head of the network said, everywhere I go, Jay said, "Trust me," and I went, "I don't get this stuff. It's not something I totally understand," so I sort of said, "Okay." And the network's involved very regularly, but the only thing they do is they've cut some of the nudity down, and they've jumped on me a couple times for suggestive positions during sex scenes. I got an instruction once, take 10 seconds out of the sex scene. And that was a note from the network. I took out 2 seconds and I went and said, "Done," because they thought there was a certain, let's see, how do I say this? There was a certain position they didn't like.
Oh my gosh.
And I left it in. And I got instructions a couple times not to do those positions. That's the closest I ever got to it.
I know,
I don't want to say it here officially, but there are a few criticisms about the sex scenes, but that's the only thing we've ever been.
It's interesting it's the sex and not the violence.
No,
that's because in North America, sex is the illicit thing.
Yeah. Europe, it's totally different. Europe, they're quite happy with lots of sex, less violence. I mean, and even the violence, we got a little crazier with the violence this year because I think we've been tiptoeing around it. And as Bo goes against bigger foes, it had to get a little stronger. So I have this great stunt team that has done major films, and we had them reach a few times. So we've broken a few things. We've broken a few sets this year, so I think so.
Well, I was going to ask Rachel about that because the show, I didn't expect the showdown between you and Bo in the last episode of season
it's great.
3. And it was like there was some real sort of sets being crashed and stuff. And I've watched so much action stuff over the years. I'm not bad at spotting stunt people. And I was watching the shots, going, "Oh my God, that's you!"
I know, it was so fun. It was a lot of fun to. We met up with the stunt people, Anna and I, and sort of choreographed the whole scene because you have to be able to do all the movements so that they can film that. And anytime, they sort of see your face, put you in, and then put the stunt girl in. But then when it came down to the day and we were rehearsing it, I said to Plato, one of our stunt guys, I'd really like to do this. And so they let me do a bunch of it. And I think there's one where Anna, throws me against the wall. And Anna and I have this whole thing where we're actually we're friends in real life, and we hang out, and we really like each other, but we have to, hate each other in the show. So she was like, "Okay, I'm going to put you against the wall. I'm so sorry for doing this." I'm like, just do it. And she's like, bam, and then the wall breaks, and I was so excited with how it turned out. But yeah, it was vicious.
You remember we improvised one scene. Her hair was down during the fight, and it was all loose. And so everybody came to me and said, "Oh my God, the last scene her hair was up, now it's down. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" And there was this big debate about your hair being down. So I had them throw you over that table.
Right? Yeah.
So,
Jay's like, "Well, we'll just throw you over the table, then your hair will come down." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's
that
great."
was on the day.
I was
on
thinking
the day.
just take it out, but
on the day, unrehearsed, because they
table.
said, "We'll just take it out." I said, "No, it has to happen for a reason." So there was this table with all this stuff on there, and I walked over and I said, "Throw her over this table."
I know.
And knock everything off, and it was
How to
last
solve
minute add-on.
problems in life.
Yeah.
Jay Firestone. Just
Throw her over the table.
Later, when I take my hair out, I'm just gonna throw myself over the table.
So that was a cute add-on at the scene.
Yeah.
That's such a great scene. Ksenia and Emmanuelle, I wondered what your favourite bits of the show we've seen so far are.
Oh gosh. Well, for me, I guess, in my scenes that I've shot, the dancing stuff was a lot of fun. That was sort of my equivalent. I don't really get to do stunt stuff in the show so much. I just kind of melt people. But
you wouldn't want to break a nail.
That's
God
right.
forbid.
I don't exert myself
Yes,
that way.
yes.
But
Don't break a sweat.
the dancing was fun. God, I guess that would have to be my favorite of the scenes that I've had to shoot. Ksenia?
I have a lot of favorites, but I would have to say I'm really excited about season 4.
Yeah.
I got to do a lot of things that were unexpected. And I love when we get to kind of bring our own talents from life into the show. Like I've gotten to play the drums.
Every time she says something, I write it in.
And in season 4, I get to do some cool stuff. And I also love doing fight stuff. I'm always telling him, like, from day one, like, more. So in season 3, when I got to do the magic staff and fight with the pigs, that was grueling and intense, but I loved every minute of it. And it was cool to see it with the effects, because, you know, on the day you just have a little stick and you're like, okay, well, hopefully this will look cool. And then once the effects and stuff were added on, it was fun to see.
Phenomenal. And look for her in season 4, because she told me she wanted to do something about a year ago or something. I think you just said it. And I said, okay, we'll put it in. And it's in season 4, and it's perfect. It's amazing. You're going to love what she does in season 4.
Is that all it takes? We just have to mention something?
Yeah, I kind of, seriously, if you say, I want to do something, I'll write in.
Horses?
Okay,
I think the Morrigan should ride a horse at some point, right?
Completely definitely.
And like the will, like
Look for season 5.
Yeah.
Season 5.
But you know, can I
like
see?
you
I can
have
see
a
you in.
dog.
No, but can I give you a little riding crop and all this stuff and the nice blue jacket and the tan pants? I know exactly how this right now.
Can I keep the wardrobe?
Are you gonna want to keep it again?
You're gonna want to keep it.
She asks me for her heels every now and then. Yes. No, I know how to dress you. I know everything. I actually know the scene right now, and I know what you're going to do with the riding
It's
crop.
so perfect.
There needs to be a pony, though.
I can do it right now. I can do it right now.
Pony.
Come on, you with a riding crop? I can see it right now.
I have the outfit at home because I can just bring it. That sounds
Right.
wrong.
It's those tan gabardine pants, right? And I know what it looks like.
Given you mentioned season 5, have you got a plan through to the end of the series? Do you have an end point? In mind?
Yeah, I have.
Jay's always got a plan.
Yeah, I have a plan. I've had a plan. Well, actually, a lot of stuff we've adapted, to be honest. I mean, we've been sort of rewriting the show as we go. I adapt a lot to what's there. But I have a political message, and I have an overall story arc for the whole season and for everybody's character right now. So, no, I have something in pen. But I do make a point, and if you've seen, we really give important messages in the show on a regular basis about empowering yourself. We had, I think Anna and Zoe had a girl come up to her once at a convention and say, I came out to my parents because of your show. It gave me the strength, and I had my parents watch your show so they understood what it meant to be able to freely choose what you want to do with your life, sort of thing. So,
Literally giving me goosebumps.
yeah. So, but we give big messages. I mean, we've done a lot with Ksenia's backstory about her family, and you'll see more of that coming. We still have to play with your backstory, but we've had some big decisions that Tamsin's character had to make. You've been a bit, just fun, So.
We've had a little bit of backstory
Yeah,
this year.
A little bit. Yeah, this year we have some complications to Morrigan's life that will show up.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Her little devious life, sort of thing. But we made a point in season 4 of giving backstories and in the backstories you're going to see that everybody has very complicated stories, and that the characters you're seeing are a mix of some very bad experiences and good experiences, which is what everybody's made up of, right?
Rumour has it that Vex is back this year. What are your thoughts?
Vex doesn't go away. I don't think, again, that was another character. Vex was supposed to be in 2 episodes in season 1. He was supposed to die in the second one. But I loved what he did.
You can't kill Paulinos.
Yeah,
No,
but I loved
so
what he did.
bad.
He makes up his own stuff. So we brought him back. So I think, have we said he's back? I guess we said he's back. Maybe, but,
If not, here it is.
yeah. But, you can't kill Vex. I mean, Vex is just too cool. So he's around, and we are actually going to learn more about him this year, too. So we get his backstory.
There's lots of theories on the internet that Kenzi and Vex get together this season.
It's so funny because I just recently heard that during an interview and I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy.
It's the
But hell, who
mascara
knows?
lines. The
Season
mascara
4.
lines, right?
It's
The
a
mascara
I didn't know mascara led to like 2 people go, that's what it is. Now I know. God, maybe I'd get more dates.
That's what we've been doing.
It was so obvious.
Yeah, no.
I can't see Vex as a relationship.
No, I think they have like a special bond. I mean, they've been through hell and high water together, and it was nice when he moved in with Kenzi and Beau. And I love having scenes of him, and I love Paul. But we'll see. Season 4, everything kind of gets flipped over on its head. But I don't know about a Kenzi Vex future.